Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be just like a Q&A video, but a pre-established Q&A, if that makes sense. So basically, if you do not know I do a lot of beauty on this channel, but I am also a published author. I own a publishing company and I am a book blogger. I also do a lot of freelance in the book world, marketing, editing, proofreading, things like that. So I'm very much immersed in the book world. That is my full-time job, is being a publisher, is being an author, and is working on my book blog, which is Chick Lit Plus. And then of course all the freelance work does keep me very busy. But in case you did not know that, or if you are new here, wanted to let you know what I do. And then I get to play with beauty and yoga and other fun things in my spare time. But yeah, being an author, being in books, that is my full-time job. But basically, what today's video is going to be, the publishing company that I own is called Marching Inc., I-N-K. It's just a little play on my name. And one of my authors with Marching Inc., her name is Laura Chapman. She is also here on YouTube. And she emailed me and asked if I would want to do like a collab video with her. We each have 6 questions that we're going to answer pertaining to our writing, our author life, our books, that sort of thing. And I thought it was a really fun idea, and I'm really excited to be able to like collab with her on something a little bit out of the box, something that we've never done before together too. So I thought that was a really fun idea and I was totally down for it. So I will have everything for Laura linked in the description box below, her YouTube, the video that she creates, of course her social media accounts. She's everywhere as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but I will leave that below as well, and all the links to her books also. Laura writes chick lit, and she writes phenomenal chick lit. I have talked about several of her books here on the channel, like when she has a book release. I've talked about her latest book releases here on YouTube and just kind of going over each book, but I will leave all of her books plus the links to purchase them in the description box below. I, of course, highly suggest that you check Laura out because I love her books. But yeah, so we have just 6 questions to answer. I know I can tend to ramble, so I will try to make this video as short as I can. But yeah, if you would like to learn a little bit more about me and my author life. So question 1 is, how have you changed as a writer and person since penning your first novel? And my debut novel is called Destined to Fail. I published it in 2011. I started writing it in late 2008, I believe, is when I started writing it. And it's very interesting because I think how I changed as a writer is that I definitely have more confidence. I had 0 confidence going into publishing Destined to Fail. I didn't really talk a lot about it with anybody. I'm a very private person when it comes to my career and what it is that I do. Like when I jumped on YouTube, I didn't tell anybody about it, except like my husband knew because I filmed videos in the house, and he would come home and I'd like have full face of makeup on like Thursday at 4 o'clock, and he's like, "Are you doing something tonight?" And I'm like, "No, just filming videos in my office on my phone, no big deal." But I'm very private because I'm someone who's very afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of negativity and I don't like it. And so when I would tell a few people like, "Hey, I have this idea, I want to write a book," the responses were like, "That's really dumb. Why do you want to write a book? Books don't go anywhere. They don't do anything. Like, you can't have a career writing books." Like, that was kind of like the responses that I would get from people, and it's very discouraging and makes you not want to do it. And when I first started writing a book, this is before self-publishing really was out there. This is before like the ebook craze really was out there, and it was hard to be an author. I actually wanted to go to school for like journalism in English because I've always loved writing. It's what I've always wanted to do. But at the time when I was getting ready to go to college, being an author to me was like making it in Hollywood. It's so hard. No one's gonna do it. Like, not only do you have to be phenomenal at what you do, but you need to like know the right connections and be in the right place at the right time. And I'm like, I just live in Iowa. I'm not gonna go anywhere. Like, how can I get anywhere? So See, I'm starting to ramble already. I started writing Destined to Fail. I kept it very close to home. I didn't talk to a lot of people about it. I did create my blog, Chick Lit Plus, as a way to help me gain those connections to meet other people that were in the book world that could maybe help me publish a novel. And starting Chick Lit Plus, I will say, like, hands down, is one of the best ideas I've ever had, ever. It opened up so many different doors for me. It gave me so many different opportunities, and it really let me explore my passion for books, and I will be eternally grateful for Chick Lit Plus for that reason. But it really did. It helped me connect with authors that I could ask them questions, I could ask them referrals. I quickly realized that writing a book, I wanted to do it my way. I really wasn't interested in gaining an agent, and self-publishing was pretty new, but I'm not afraid of new things, and I knew that was what I wanted to do, but I was also very scared. And so with Destined to Fail, I had, I think, like 3 editors. I mean, I don't even know how many proofreaders I went through. I had so many different beta readers, and it took me so long to actually publish the book because I rewrote it 3 times. Because with every feedback that I got from someone, and I had so much feedback on that book, I would change the book and change the book and change the book because I thought someone's feedback meant, you know, they were the most important opinion ever. So of course I had to change the book to reflect what they were saying. And in some ways, I'm frustrated with myself that I did that because Destined to Fail didn't necessarily come out the way that I had originally planned for it to come out, which is kind of frustrating to me. And now I have learned as a writer, you do need opinions, you need an editor, you need a proofreader, you do need beta readers, but especially when it comes to like beta readers, which are readers that will read an early on draft and give you their feedback, you need to take their feedback and you need to listen to their feedback, but you also need to listen to yourself. And if you have too much feedback, it's just going to be a mess. You're going to have too many opinions. It's just going to be too hard. So I usually limit myself to 2 or 3 beta readers, an editor, a proofreader, and that's kind of where I stand. And I've had so much more confidence in being a writer from when I published Destined to Fail, from when I last published my last book, which was Up to I Do. So there's that. How have I changed as a person? Well, I'm much older now. Just had a birthday, so there's that. In my personal life, I've also gotten married. I was dating my husband when I started writing Destined to Fail, and we're now married, but I'm just a much happier person because I gave myself a goal, and that was to finish business school, and if I was still interested in pursuing writing once I finished and got my bachelor's degree, then I would really go for it, and that is exactly what I did, and I'm very proud of myself, and I'm just very happy with my life. 2 is, if you could have a writing retreat anywhere, where would you go and what would your daily schedule look like? So I am an absolute like travel junkie, and I mean it doesn't even have to be like out of the country or somewhere exotic. Like if someone's like, hey, you want to go to Kansas City this weekend? I'm like, yes, I'm in, I'll go. Like I just love going places. It's so much fun. But if I could have a writing retreat, I'm really interested right now in going to like Bali, I don't know why, or Thailand. That's really up there. Are those good places for writing retreats? I don't really know. But those are like places that I'm eyeing. But honestly, for a writing retreat, I would maybe say like London. Is that cliche? I don't know if that's cliche, but maybe London, which, you know, is a place that I want to go to anyways. It's on like the top of my list. But I don't know. I feel like I hear so many writers going there and like getting so inspired and being able to be so creative. So maybe there, because maybe I'd probably be worried if I went somewhere like beachy that I would just like lay on the beach all day and not actually do any writing. So maybe if I went somewhere I could actually get writing done. And what would my daily schedule look like? For sure I would have a schedule because I am a schedule person. Like I have to have a schedule every single day or I'm just confused and I will like throw my hands up in the air and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to be doing. But my schedule, if it's a writing retreat, then I'm writing as much as I can. So I would probably say like in the morning would be like breakfast and a workout because I work out every morning. I need to work out. I feel like it helps me to like be creative and be more awake and more energetic. So that's why I really like working out in the morning. And then write. Probably a break for lunch. probably write. And then, you know, doing something fun, like doing something touristy, seeing something, being around people. You know, as a writer, you have to have voices in your head. Being able to get voices in my head, seeing new places. And then at night, probably write. Lots of writing. If it's a writing retreat, we gotta write, right? Number 3 is, when people find out you're an author, what is the #1 question they ask and what's your answer? Probably the most common question that I get asked when I say that I'm an author is, what kind of books do you write? And I will answer women's fiction. I've written women's fiction, I've written new adult, and my latest one was more on the chick lit side. But another, like one of the most popular questions that I get asked is, oh, is it like 50 Shades of Grey? And I don't know, I hate that question. I've never read 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't watched the movie. I feel like a lot of people in the literary world like don't. If you ask, I feel like, because I've asked a lot of authors, like, have you read 50 Shades or have you watched the movie? And people are like, no. So I don't know, that like weirds me out. I don't know. That question is very, very popular. I also sometimes, it's not the most common question or as popular as the 50 Shades question, but I actually get, people ask a lot when I say I'm an author. They're like, oh, so you have a lot of free time. Like, what else do you do? And I'm like, oh, okay. No, I don't have a lot of free time, people. Like, what? No, it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of late nights, a lot of creativity, a lot of time to write a book. I don't have a lot of free time. The next question is, what are some of the biggest pressures you find when writing and publishing a book? Some of the biggest pressures that I feel now when writing and publishing is just being worried that people are going to like it and people are going to connect with it in the way that I want them to connect with a book, if that makes any sense at all. But in all of the books that I've written, I feel like I have tried to incorporate some sort of life lesson that I have learned in my life into my book, because when I was growing up, I relied on books a lot to teach me a lot of different things. And you know, not everything in my past has been fantastic and wonderful and great, and I turned to books a lot when I was going through hard things to help, you know, keep me on the right track, but to help me learn lessons. And I learned a lot of them through the books that I read, and so that's really what I want to have in my books as well. Like, I don't necessarily always just want to write like a happy story. I want there to be some sort of lesson that readers can learn in there. And there's been several times in several books where people completely and totally miss the point of the story, and they just like to pick on other things and critique other things. And I get that when you put something out into the world like that, especially a book, like, you're gonna have backlash. I will never understand how authors get so upset when they get a bad review. It sucks. I get it, especially if it doesn't make sense. I literally, like, one of my favorite reviews ever, I think it's on my book, The Green Ticket. The review on Amazon says, this book smells like smelly cheese. What does that mean? I'm like, did you order a paperback and it legit smells like cheese? Did you put cheese on the book? Like, I don't understand how that is a review. I don't understand how Amazon lets that stay up, because clearly it's someone just being a jack off. So I don't know. So, I mean, I understand that, but when people take the time and give an honest critiqued review and authors just like freak the F out, I'm like, I don't understand. Not everyone is going to like your book. Not everyone's going to like your videos. Not everyone's going to like your pictures. Like, we all have different opinions. So, like, let's just calm down about it. But so I understand that not everyone will like all of my books, especially because in quite a few of them I go into more serious subjects that I know not everyone is comfortable reading. I try to be very upfront with that in my blurbs and let people know that. My third book is called A Questionable Friendship, and there's really not a happy ending. And I say that in the blurb because I know some people read books because they want a happy ending. And I say it right there. There's not a happy ending in the cards for everyone. And I remember getting a review, and this reviewer was so mad because there wasn't a happy ending. And I'm like, I told you. I tried to warn you. It's right there. It says it. So don't be mad at me. But that is a very big pressure, is just, you know, how the book will be received, how people we'll talk about it and that sort of thing. And for me, that's probably one of the biggest pressures, because being an author, we do rely on the reviews so much, and we rely on readers to keep buying our books, or else how would we be able to stay in business? Question is, what gave you the confidence to decide to publish your first novel? And I kind of talked about this, about how that was like one of my biggest things with publishing my first book, is not having a lot of confidence. And I don't know, honestly, like, I don't know what was the trigger that made me be like, no, I can do this. Like, I can do this. Why am I holding back? Why do I keep rewriting the story? Why do I keep holding on to it? Like, you just need to go for it. And I truly don't remember. There's not like a light bulb moment, and I'm sure it was just something in me saying, like, if you don't go for it, you're never gonna go for it. Like, you just need to do it. And it's funny because I feel the same way about YouTube. I wanted to do YouTube for a very long time. I actually started YouTube probably 4 years ago or so. I had a channel and I put a few videos out there, and I didn't really like them. I didn't share it with anybody, but I didn't really like the videos. The very few people that I did share it with, like when my social media was still pretty small, like there just really wasn't a response on it, and I gave up very quickly. And I've always been pretty upset with myself that I did that, because even if something doesn't seem to be working great right away, the response shouldn't be to just give up. You know, it should make you want to work harder. So I am a little frustrated at myself that I did that, and of course I'm frustrated with how long it took me to put out Destined to Fail, but at the same time, I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and happens in the time that it should. So to me, I am glad that the version of Destined to Fail that came out, I'm glad it was that version, and especially not the first version that I wrote, because I've looked back and I've read that first version and I just thought there's no way I would want that published. It was just too much of my own story, and I don't want that out there in the way that it was written. So I'm glad that I did wait and I did rewrite and that sort of thing. So, I mean, I don't know. Does that make any sense? I'm just going off in my own little world here, but what gave you the confidence to publish your first novel is just something inside me saying, if you don't go for it now, you're never gonna go for it. Just go for it. Last question is, do you have a book favorite out of all that you've published? And I feel like I do, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if your books are supposed to be like your children, like you can't pick a favorite, but I think that I do have a favorite, and I think it would have to be my third book, A Questionable Friendship, because in this book, this is my most creative book. And when I say that, Destined to Fail is slightly based on my life and my past. The Green Ticket is based on an experience that I had in college that I just thought was so insane, that I remember going through this experience and being like, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I here and how did I get here? And then a few years later, I'm like, I was put in that situation to freaking write a book about it, because that was just too wild not to write a book about it. The fourth book is about a girl getting married. I started writing it around the time that I got engaged, and it just follows, like, that book was supposed to be much more like lighthearted and fun about, you know, planning a wedding, going through a wedding, but also a special relationship between a girl and her grandma. I lost my grandma a few years back, and we did have a special relationship, and I wanted to write some sort of like tribute dedication to her. But A Questionable Friendship was one that I felt that I was the most creative on. I really had nothing to base these experiences on. It's about a friendship between two women that turns out to be very questionable, if you can't tell from the title. And actually what was so strange about that book is I wrote it without, like, I've had friends and I've had falling outs and I've had fights with friends, but nothing that like shook me to my core like how in this book happened. And I really had to like channel up emotions and really use my imagination to put these characters in these situations. And then it was, you know, probably like a year after this book published, I actually went through that. I actually lost my best friend for reasons that are still unbeknownst to me. She just literally stopped talking to me one day, and every time I try to communicate with her, she just says no. It's very odd, but I actually lost a friendship that really made me question our entire 7-year friendship, because I'm like, how do you cut a best friend out of your life with no remorse, with no explanation, with no anything? Like, how was our friendship ever as strong as I thought it was? Did she ever take me as seriously as I took her? Like, what happened? And I remember around that time rereading the book again, rereading A Questionable Friendship for myself, and seeing a lot of my emotions that I was going through in that book. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess that means I did a right job, because now going through a questionable friendship, my situation like eerily mirrored what happened here. And not like the situations were the same, because if you've read that book, like, everyone is still alive and well, so don't worry about that. But just the emotions and the feelings that these characters went through very similarly reflected my life, and I just thought that was very crazy. So yeah, that was very weird. That was very weird. And so a lot of times people will ask me, like, was A Questionable Friendship based on you and this girl's friendship? And I'm like, no, that book was written a year before anything happened. It was published probably at least 8 months before anything happened. Like, it had nothing to do with it. But yeah, but it's still probably my favorite book, for the reason that when I was writing it and going through it, I felt like I was being able to be my most creative self. It was also the first book that was set not in the Midwest. My first 2 books were based in Iowa, and the 3rd book is based in Maine. And so I was able to do a lot of different research, and it was just a lot of fun to learn about a state that I've never been to, I've never visited. So on all outlets, I felt like I was able to be my most creative, and that was really fun to write. I will say, I do think book 5 is going to replace that very soon, and I think this one is going to be my new favorite, because I wrote the novel in November during the National Novel Writing Month, and I just recently revisited it and reread it, and like was getting goosebumps and was crying, and it really like stirred me emotionally. And so I think this one, book 5, I'm really excited. I think it'll be a summer release. Alright guys, that is everything for this video. I feel like I've been talking for a really long time, like my voice kind of hurts, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it was maybe something new, or you learned something a little bit new about me. I'm so excited to watch Laura's video and to hear her answer these questions, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. So everything for Laura, like I said, will be linked in the description box below. I hope you will go watch her video. I hope you will subscribe to her channel and give her some love. Definitely check out her books, especially if you are a chick lit fan. Her recent series that she is like currently writing, she has 2 books out right now, a 3rd is soon to come. It is kind of based on football as well, so if you're like me and a football fan also, I'm sure that you will love these books. But yes, please go show Laura some love, let her know that I sent you. I really do hope that you will check out her channel. I was so excited that she came up with this video, and I love being able to collaborate with one of my authors on this. I think that was so fun. I love all of the authors that I'm able to work with, and we are able to put out books together. I never think of me as what I do as like the boss. Like sometimes the girls will say like, you're the boss lady, and I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, we're doing this together. Like, we're in this together. Like, you're the author. You're the one doing all the hard work. Like, I'm just here helping it get out into the world. Like, writing the book is the hard part, man. I'm excited to be able to work with her on it. So yes, check the description box. Everything for Laura will be down there. I will also leave the links for all of my stuff down there, including all 4 of my books as well. I hope to have some good news soon with book 5. I'm doing the last of my rewrites before it goes off to my beta readers, and I see what they have to say about the book. So that part makes me so nervous, especially because this book it's something else. It's something else. I'm so excited to share it with you. Like I said, I'm shooting for like an early summer release date, but we will see. I will let you guys know. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. I know it's something a little bit different for my channel, but I hope you guys were still able to enjoy it. If you have any questions for me about what I do, or anything about my author life or my books, or if you're someone that is interested in books or reading or writing, or you have any questions about writing a book, publishing a book, anything like that, I get asked questions on the daily, and I'm very happy to answer them. So leave them in the comments below, shoot me an email, DM me on Instagram. I get a lot of messages on Instagram about publishing books. Feel free to get me there. I will find you Sometimes it takes me a little bit to find those like messages that don't pop up right away. Like I have to go to other and find them. It's kind of weird, but I will find your message. I will get back to you. Don't you worry. And now I need to stop talking because I feel like I could truly lose my voice. I hope you will subscribe before you go. I will catch you guys real soon in my next video. Thanks for watching.